I gave you my best, you showed me your worst. I took on the mess, so you didn't hurt. Don't know what could've made you stay. Gave it all when it's in my face. Going numb every time that I see your face. I wish that you could've just lied to me and say you care more than you ever did. You know there's nothing I wouldn't give. Take it all and more, don't want it. I'll give you everything, just stick around. Don't get what your love gon' cost me, as long as it don't stop us falling down. Don't leave me alone, yeah. Take it all and more, don't want it. I'll give you everything, just stick around. Try not to get close, cause I knew that I'd keep up in the dose. Guess what, no surprise. You were there, wanted more, everything I had. Wanted gold, wanted rings, about 100 rags. Tell you no, but I won't, cause I'm too attached. I wish that you could've just lied to me and say you cared more than you ever did. You know there's nothing I wouldn't give. Take it all and more, don't want it. I'll give you everything, just stick around. Don't get what your love gon' cost me, as long as it don't stop us falling down. Don't leave me alone, yeah. Take it all and more, don't want it. I'll give you everything, just stick around. Don't tear us down so fast. I know our love can make it another day, so don't give up what we had. I know our love can make it another day, so take it all and more, don't want it. I'll give you everything, just stick around. Don't get what your love gon' cost me, as long as it don't stop us falling down. Don't leave me alone, yeah. Take it all and more, don't want it. I'll give you everything, just stick around.
Basically, I made this song. I started humming this melody.
You ain't never look at what goes on. I got day ones that'll hold on. I'm a start up, but I'm so gone. There's a lot of steam that I'll blow.
They can't make a case with no evidence, but the way you feel about me is evident. I tried and it hurts, but I don't hurt myself. And I lie, I'm the worst, is what you tell yourself. And I need somebody to get me out of hell. Where I stay isn't nice, but you stay here as well. And I tried and it hurts, but I don't hurt myself. And I lied, I'm the worst, is what you tell yourself. Probably wanna see what it's like to be held. Where I stay isn't nice, but you stay here as well.
Yeah. So show us when we start. Hello everyone, welcome. Beginning the more. Interesting, it's all black. I'll need to check my fucking hair. Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's not even on the screen for some reason.
Myself and I lie, I'm the worst, is what you tell yourself. And I need somebody to get me out of hell. Where I stay isn't nice, but you stay here.
Yeah, that should be right. There you go. What are we doing? I already told people yesterday what was I'm gonna be streaming. I'm going to be streaming Bratya. I'm gonna load the music as well. I'm gonna have very much in the background. There we go. Let me see here. Here we go. What are we doing? We're playing Brotia. Right type. Anyway, we're playing as well as Sablin. And this stream is later going to be on YouTube, so I'm posting to my YouTube channel. You can find it in on my Discord. So entire this stream is going to be on YouTube by the end of today or tomorrow. Anyway, we're playing TNO. For those who doesn't know, if you don't know what TNO is, oh, YouTube, hell yeah. What is TNO for those who doesn't know? The TNO is the New World Order, is a world where Germany won World War One. Hi mate, yo, Wisconsin, bro, you made a new account, or did you just change your name? Anyway, so basic stuff. It's the same. Germany won World War Two, and now we're in pretty much a freeway between the United States, Germany, Japan, and hopefully the Soviet Union by the end of this. We're remaking the Soviet Union. That's pretty much all that. Renamed. Nice word. Right, we are gonna stop. We're not gonna play an Iron Man. We're just, getting in here. Oh shit. By the way, are you gonna make video on the February 26th incident? I am planning on making a YouTube video on the February 26th incident. I'm also planning on making. There's a lot of YouTube videos I want to make. I want to make like one of those commentary where you sit in your chair and I just talk about bullshit, like how Paracynical makes videos. I wanted to make one of those. The February 26th incident. I also wanted to make a can I put this away? I also want to make a video on the Lapland War. If you don't know what Lapland War was, when Finland capitulated to the Soviet Union in 1944 after a fight here in the Karelian Isthmus, where the Soviets pretty much took Viipuri and all along here, and then Finns fought them pretty much to a standstill, but then the Finns managed to surrender, giving up some of their territory. The Finns were forced to expel the Germans, which was part of the treaty, and it led to conflict from around Oulu to I think Murmansk, and up here we're in the Petsamo region, Rovaniemi, and all the way up until Tromsø and then to Narvik, which pretty much there was conflict all up here. And I wanted to make a video about that because there's not been a single video about that. That's gonna be also one of the videos. I don't know when I'm gonna make them, but they are coming. That would be epic. There are a lot of topics that people haven't made video. Yeah, and the Lapland War is a video. I know one person made a video. I checked on it, but there are not that many. Anyway, the Borat Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic. We're gonna go into this, and I'm gonna try to talk a bit as much as possible. On December the 30th, 1922, the Treaty of the Creation of the USSR established the Soviet Union. Most persons would say that the Soviet Union was destroyed in 1945 when its union shattered after the Nazi reached the AA line. AA line was the Arkhangelsk to Astrakhan line, which went right here. That's the AA line. Yaduga and his presidium claimed that the Soviet Union was never destroyed, and the region was governed from Irkutsk, which is right here. And that's Yaduga. He was the leader of the NKVD, or which was the predecessor to the KGB. And he was of a Jewish background, and he supported Bukharin in reality, but then he switched sides and supported Stalin. But in 1920s or 30s, he was ousted from his post, and he was forced to. I think he was killed. Actually, I really don't know exactly. But anyway, government. But Valery Sablin knows that the Soviet Union was truly destroyed in 1924 when Nikolai Bukharin, which is in this version who's took control and not Stalin, won the power struggle to see Lenin and began dismantling everything that Lenin had stood for. Sablin didn't always think this way. He used to be a dutiful commissar in Yarga's army. He served valiantly in the Central Siberian War, despite the constant NKVD interference in his unit. He was a lifelong believer in the ideals of Lenin, and most of his life he believed that Yaroga and his presidium upheld them. But as the years dragged on, the NKVD tightened their grip on the Soviet state. Sablin began to doubt that he was truly fighting for liberation of the proletariat after all. He was not alone. He soon began to meet others who questioned Yaroga and his growing securocracy. He met Buryats who felt their culture had been destroyed by assimilation policies. Bukharinists who felt that an NKVD securocracy was an affiliate to the Bukharin's union. And he met a woman who felt their equal share of social society with blah 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 and their sex. Okay. He united these and other desperate groups together and launched a revolution against Yaroga, seizing the control of Burятия, which is, this region right here, Burятия. In the process, alongside Mikhail Markshev, Burat commander of the army, Otto Braun, German communist and veteran of Mao's communist uprising in China, Maya Ulanskaya, a Russian Jewish dissident political activist, and his right-hand woman, Susanna Puchero, dissident and survivor of the Gulag. He prepared to end Yaroga's tyranny once and for all. Yet, after the revolution, what next? Sablin is completely committed to the liberation of the Union and bring freedom and equality to all Russians. Sablin has also never governed a polity. The Bukharinite wing of his movement will still be strong after Irkutsk is reclaimed. Sablin will have to make difficult decisions between Leninist ideals and Bukharinite pragmatism. But for now, all he has to do is end Yaroga's tyranny. After that, the restoration of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic will come. That's pretty much the basics of what we're gonna do. A little quick about Valery Sablin. He was born in 1939, like they show here. He was part of the Soviet Navy, and in 1972 he led a mutiny on a Russian destroyer right out here, and he tried to get to Leningrad or St. Petersburg, where he attempted to form a coup to pretty much get Brezhnev out of power and restore a more Leninist ideology instead of what he classified as just a more like corrupted version of communism that was in rule at the moment. Anyway, let's get on. So we're gonna get everything set up. We are gonna do nutrition. We are gonna take you. I'm gonna do the spark, and I'm not gonna read what this is, but I will do read the event. We get 5% word support for this one. Let's start. I'm gonna speed up this a little bit. And the revolution reborn. As the Great Periodic War was shattered by the Soviet Union, those that dwell within this Burat ASSR, which means ASSR means Autonomous Socialist Soviet Republic, could not help but to fear the future, even that as Yaroga evacuated the government not to the east. The always looming fear of Japanese and German strike was ever present. Because of this, it was not a complaint when Yaroga expanded the NKVD's power. Emergency measures, he said, We did not complain when the Presidium was purged. Surely Commander Yadaga had good intentions. Of course, it was not. Did we not complain when our neighbors were dragged off by men in the middle of the night, never to be seen again? Surely they were traitors. When Comrade Yadaga consolidated his grip even ever further, and the men came in the middle of the day, none though any sane person would have courage to speak out. And yet, Commander Sablin did, emboldened by Yadaga's resounding defeat in the war with the Central Siberian Republic, which is Tomsk in this game. He acted, a mere commissar, only 23 years of age, but distinguished by the rhetoric he had seen. He and a small amount of men stormed a radio tower and broadcasted his message for all to hear. This was not socialism, he said. This is not even a life worth living. Comrade Sablin called for those oppressed so long by Yadaga's steel grasp to free themselves and take a stand, tell their oppressors no. And they did. Comrade Sablin has declared the Bureau at ASSR reborn, free from Yadaga's tyranny for the moment. Even now, the NKVD march, determined to slaughter all who stand in the way, but their iron discipline and shining guns mean nothing. Thanks to Comrade Sablin, we have tasted freedom, and we will die before it is taken from us again. The revolution marches on. That's interesting. So we are gonna start up and try to get everything here. I need to look if this gives me decreased military suppression, gender, right? Oh, they actually added a lot of difference there. Still, Jesus, sorry. And yet we live, and they believe in combat roles. Interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I need to keep an eye on. A split in the family. Me calling to the east. Papa, I'm sorry. Let me just do this. Me calling to the east. I'm sorry. Bulaga stared at his son. His face was hard as iron and the eyes was piercing bald. Bless you. Thank you. Yeah, 10 years he had served with Yadaga. 10 years he had risen through the ranks of the NKVD. Blood stained his hand, but long of the rationalized it as a boy in just 17. He has fought and bled for the Bolsheviks in the Great Civil War. He promised his life to the revolution until the very end of his days. Now, here was his son about to betray the nation that Bolsheviks had a hand in forging. The eyes that peeled by his father. Let me go, let me fight for what's right. Bjordred sighed, setting a hand upon his son's shoulder. I was only a bit younger than you when I was told when I too bled by Furlan. He began. In those days I asked myself one question every single night. Was I fighting for the right side? What if I made a horrible mistake? He shook his head, smiling. I followed what my heart desired. I followed the passion that guided me, and it led me to the socialist revolution. Boyd swallowed. Suddenly, uneasy of what he was about to say, no matter who won the struggle, his words would doom him. But cruel men corrupted it, my son, and they brought me down a path that heaven followed. I'm old now, and my passion has dried. His eyes met with his son, and tears swelled. Follow your heart, my son. Jesus. Do you want to do what you believe is right, and do not considered by old, feeble men like me, but hold your comrade accountable as I should have. His son nodded, and the eagerness that he felt his face was now mixed with longing. I will, Papa, he said. Then he watched his son step out of the house and to Barataya. Boulder feared that he had killed him, yet he could not restrain his son like did so many others. His fate was now his self's issues, and there was only one hopeless wish he had left. Please come back home. Interesting. Interesting itch. I like this about the mod. It actually gives you a lot of stuff. We are going. Oh, I have not fixed this. are is gonna get to making weapon. The end of the missile crisis. That means that, and if I'm correct, that is was the Hawaiian missile crisis. We have this as well. Okay, I'm just looking around. So actually, I haven't done any of this. Let me see here. Military bases. There's a lot of stuff they've added here, so I need to military infrastructure, anti-air, prison, military bases. Aren't there isn't factories anymore? There you go. So I can't make any. I have one, but these will become more the more I do it. So what I am gonna do, this is all we need. I'm gonna make a school. Oh, never mind. We can't even build anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get back on it. Maybe we couldn't build because I wasn't even looking at my own nation. No, we can build stuff. Anyway, we're gonna build one of this, and then we're gonna build one hospital. Gonna start left like that. So let's see the spark when we've done that. Now off equality, that gives me a woman in the workplace. It decreases the gender rights. This gives me of hope for the future. That gives me manpower, red airways. It gives me no need to fear. Let's do this. Anger. The spark. We're off to break in the stride. Valerie, Mikhail, Sablin. Frost opening doors to the opera house, bursting through the lobby into the theater. Shoved aside and had been transformed into a beating heart of the revolution. Sablin felt the revolutionary fever electrifying his comrade as they filled the crevices spaces with noise and motion. Could see the seal in their eyes, and they saluted him. Mounting his stage with single bounce, Sablin barely got time to salute the central committee before he was lifted off his feet in a bear hug by Mikhail Makrev, the enormous Ukrainian bureaucrat who had commanded the mutiny army. Our comrade excelled, he released Sablin and let's do that. He stood smiling bashfully. Sablin glanced over at his comrade as they stood around the table in the middle of the stage, raising one as his eyebrows. His right woman, Susan, smiled back at him as her inseparable companion Maya frowned, irritated by the distraction. Jesus Christ, there's so much to read. Susan smiled back at him, not looking like scrawled over the map in the front of him. The craggy old German Otto Brown grumbled, I believe that we arranged. Saluting over with my crew, Sablin looked over the chaotic jumble of maps. Most were pre-war, and they had been hastily altered to reflect the grim reality of shattered Russia, struggling of a brief bang of war continued. Sablin grinned at friends. Ah, comrade, the great war continues. If we free ourselves of Yaria's oppression, so too we shall strike and turn the clock. Braun shot Sablin a look of irritation, suffering over the rims of his spectacle. Despite jocularity, doubt gnawed at Sablin's heart. To prevail in the territory, he had been sure. Like, if you don't want me to read, tell me. But like, I was reading. He the will of the people, comrade. He began. Do the people truly favor us? We cannot win the war without the common folk united under the banner. Putting down his pen, Brown looked Sablin in the eyes. In my years in China, I learned that the people think of their ruler. They hate Jaga's reign of terror. Salary pensive, the Makrev nodded, adding that I can say with certainty that the word people are with us, comrade. Valera. Our spark has lit the flame burning in the people's heart, and we are with us no, they're with us no others, said Pechororo. Smiling slightly, doubt quenched, Sablin nodded, letting his comrade get back to the down and dirty aspect of the revolution, the spark. He liked it. Sometimes history needs a push. I think this is just... I'm just gonna skip this. This is just story. I'm not gonna read it. So we're gonna rush up to this. Total not done these night vision. And we are going to do better machinery. I'm gonna speed up. Okay, we're gonna try it. We're very slow. Oh, Rex last conquest, they conquered the moon. We have a very good the Morgan Bogota. I think that's about the Siberian Black Army, which is right here. I should play that. It seems really fun, actually. Assassin strikes at Hitler. I don't know how much we need to take from Kursk. We have about equal of men that I have, so. We are of anger. We finished anger. We are now gonna do for those forsaken. For let me see here. We are gonna do those for those forsaken. It gives me 1,255 guns. It's gonna be very useful for me. Missing equipment a bunch, but there doesn't go. The Red Dead Revolution. Mikhail Makarev whooped and waved his better old saber in the air as his cavalry thundered across the Taiga. I don't know what it is. A huge cloud of dust rising from the way towards the great train. His men let loose their war cry as bullets flew through the air and towards them, responding with a blister of that sent the screaming defenders toppling from the train. There was the living. Hey, Sultan, welcome. This was a living. This was what the men were made for. Maghreb joined his men and they drew alongside the train, leaping from their horses to the cargo-strewn flat cars. Fountains of gore spilling from the guards, not smart enough to jump off to make a run for it. Forward, men! Show these plunderers the fury of the Buryats. For the revolution, shouted Maghreb, pulling his revolver and sprinting down the train towards the engine, bombarding the defenders with a hail of bullets, reloading behind an enormous crate stamped with Chinese characters. Maghreb felt the train speed up beneath him. The desperate engine stuck in the boulder to try to escape. Too late, he fought, grinning viciously as he fired wildly out from the cover. A spray of blood erupted from the head of one of his enemies. Ah, what a righteous feeling. He spilled the blood of plunderers and black marketeers, the service of the revolution. Despite the glorious battle, Maghreb had to admit that the result was a grim conclusion. His troops outnumbered the defenders 5-1. By the time they reached the front, the soot-smeared engineers had their hands up in terrified surrenders. So the tyrant Jadega thought he could control the railways. Did he? He have a hell of a lot more troubling suppressing the revolutions without his regular weapons shipment coming up from China. Maghreb sneered as one of his grinding men handed him a bottle of expensive wine intended for the tyrant himself. He uncorked it with his teeth and took a swig, taking it from Jagara and made it all sweeter. Forward for the revolution. What did I miss? Sultan, the thing you missed is pretty much... I've just started the match, just telling what is going on. But not that much has happened yet. I've just pretty much, like I said, only started. We can scavenge for loot. We can do some warlord development. That doesn't really matter. I can do that. I'm never gonna do this, and I think that should. Borman the successor. So pretty much it usually happens. I still haven't got my forces up here. Goose is soon gonna be taken. Yeah, look at that. We're already. We have lost more men than they have, but that is fine. And there we go. We're done. The war's all done. We have captured the Kurdish Lord's type capture. This is just the basic. It doesn't have any first story. It was simple. Very simple. It's a very easy war to win, actually. The end of an end to tyrants. On the stage of the Opera House, Sablin sat with the Central Committee, everyone waiting avid to the last report from the front line. Finally, the radio operator raised her hand. Sablin read the messages in the glimmer of her eyes and began to smile before she even spoke. Comrade, she below, the tyrant is ours. Instantly, the crowd erupted into euphoria. Soldiers hugged one another, tears streaming down their eyes. And as the reports came in, Yadaga imprisoned, the enemy fleeing west, the NKVD surrendering in the mass. Sablin couldn't help but grin. Irkutsk was theirs. Magrev stomped across the stage and triumphed a crate of vodka, which I'm actually drinking now right now. I'm actually drinking vodka. Could you believe it? Vodka and what's it called? Rushchina Sweps, which is a good mixture. So, cheers to revolution, I guess. Cheers to killing tyrants. Comrades, called Sablin, drawing every eye to him. The revolution is victorious, he cried, waving a bottle like a baton to Kakutia's cheer. Tonight we celebrate, my comrades rejoined. Sitting down, someone looked around happily. Maghreb was joking with his men. Uvanskaya down glass after glass of vodka. Even Brown was smiling for once, catching Petura's eyes. Sablin shot her a smile. She grunted back at him, raising her glass in a mock salute. We did it, Valerie, she shouted. She shouted, already slurring Sablin's smear. She's always been a lightweight. Take another pull. Sablin felt lighter than air. They still had a long road to go to end Russia's chaos and bring her people into a new age of greatness. But the revolution could wait until tomorrow. Tonight they will paint Verkheninska red. I don't know. Oh, that's the capital. We did it, and because we finished and did war, we have skipped to get a new focus tree. The revolution's victors. And what we got from that was a bunch of guns, a bit of other stuff. We are gonna set them. I don't know where we're gonna set them up towards. I think we're gonna set them up all here. We're gonna do it right now. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna make some more brigades, maybe. Now the question is, how much guns do we have? 82, we have a bunch of. So we're gonna make one of these. Put them right here. And we're gonna make one more of these guys. Let's get our troops back in order, of course. Free production units. It's right here. We have more production units. We're gonna make one more here, and one more production. We can't do it. Okay. We are gonna put more into civilian for this section. Power grid. We do have a good power grid, right? You can check that with the economy tab. See, the inflation is 1.8%, which is good. We have GDP 0.33 billion. We have expenditure, and we have no surplus though, which is unfortunate. We can of course pull up on these. We're gonna keep it like it is. We don't wanna destroy my economy. Spending too much is not good. I know that much, even though And it's lagging. Oh, there we go. The ultimatum! We have received an ultimatum from the Black Sumerian army that they demand we hand over tribute of loot. Oh. Smyrna, exactly. Let's hit the troops on their border. We're gonna wait a few days and we're gonna get that. We won't make that easily. There we go. Sablin, we had they would have preferred to get married by sea, but he had to satisfy with Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is actually the deepest lake in the world. I shall know that, and it's really beautiful. I wish I had to go there. It's tourist actual city I really want to go to, because it seemed really nice. And drinking from, apparently in Russian folklore, if you drink from Lake Baikal, you will live to be over 100 years old. Now, if that is true or not, I don't know. It's interesting anyway. Sablin Lake Baikal, leaving his new wife Yadesha asleep there in their compartment. He stepped into the corridor of the train carriage that bore them back to direction. Which is this one? Yeah. Outside, the pine trees roused under the light of the full moon. Gazing at the trees for a moment, Sablin opened the window and was instantly assaulted by the freezing wind that annoys the train passenger. Lighting a cigarette, a rare luxury, he leaned against the wall of the carriage, exhaling occasionally into the night. After a while, the door of the neighboring compartment slid open. Hatros Pechora stepped into the corridor. Wordlessly, he offered her a cigarette. Waving it off, she said, "Having trouble sleeping well, Valeria?" Sablin blew a thin stream of smoke out the window. He couldn't meet the eyes of his friend, and he said, "Ah, Susanna, I should be happy. This is my wedding night. I love her. I do, but I just feel nothing." Sablin looked up at Peshoro, tears filling his eyes. I kept thinking, how will it end? My face, the most overwhelming obstacles, and every day I send the men to the bloody and horrible death. What gave me the right? Oh, Susan, I have such doubts. Then she laid her slight hands on Sablin's shoulder. Nothing worth having, nothing its price. Well, Valeria, when you doubt, find your courage and remember that we fight for the truth and right. We believe in you, and so does every man, woman, and child in Russia who still hopes for the future. Above all else, well, remember the revolution and truth, and be truth to yourself. Wiping his face, Sablin smiled through his tears. Susanna thinks sometimes that you are the strongest of all of us. Looking into each other's eyes, the two friends smiled and other as the train carried them into the night. Love has a ring, and the ring has no end. Yes, we took your draft. Interesting. I think like I've gone for like 1 year and still got 40 minutes of this stream. Start the fires, because that's a bit better to begin with. Now in our home to give a bunch of English. We need to do this, trying the NKVD, and we are gonna do justify for the. We are clearly gonna lose this. Yeah, we have been ready. Didn't give me enough time. Here in the family, Sablin will do that. Yeah, one very much. I'm gonna skip this one. I think I've read way too much. Garrison slaughtered. That doesn't really matter. I'm sorry that I'm not reading, but like there is a lot of stuff that I really read, and I just need to keep the stream going. Stoke the fires. We're gonna do trying the NKVD. We are gonna try the NKVD set. How's my economy? Where's it mostly coming from? Business taxes, income taxes. Military spending actually taking a. I'm gonna do a bit like this, and then we're gonna do some social expenditure. Here we go. Guns is being produced. We have 200 right there. Fate of NKVD. The remnants of Jadagas oppression had been unable to flee westward. Westwards were sent to the ones who hadn't been able to flee westward were sent to the capital in the middle of the night in cattle cars, shuttling along the Trans-Siberians like so many of their gulag-bound victims before them. One by one, they were hauled before the court, found guilty of crimes against the revolution and the people. He dragged them into the cells. In the gallery, the people howled for blood before they were silenced by the tribunal. Watching from the bench, Sablin could not help but feel their pain. We all lost someone they loved in the AKD. As the sun began to descend upon the last of the trial individuals, conclude the tribunal faces the second and arguably more important ones. This again, that what about the NKVD organization as a whole? Front of the mouth, the more radical mutineers argued that the NKVD must be totally dissolved, for its history is a tool of status, oppression, and tyranny. Though agreeing with principles, Sablin also finds himself drawing to the argument that Brown and the older Bolsheviks, who insist in a quiet but firm voice that the NKVD is too valuable a tool to cast aside. It's out to reintegrate it as a security force of the ASSR. On the tight leash, Sablin weighed the sins of the NKVD against the potential to use the revolution as a debate rages on. NKVD has done so much evil, but could it be rehabilitated? Could it even just what they needed for the revolution to prevail? Comrade Sablin cried, Penchuro, startling him out of his reverie. We have not yet heard from you. What should we done with Jadagas dogs? I'm thinking, what should we do, guys? What should we do? They can still serve. I'm thinking we should let them actually stay. They could be useful to keep them in the revolution. It doesn't give me anything if I look at them like the thing, but it gives me. This gives me our military professionalism will improve. It will integrate NKVD, which gives me a little less war support. This gives vote franchise, aggression vote. So we are actually they can still serve the revolution. I think that they are useful from some way or another. Anyway, take us. Oh. Interesting. There's so many. Oh, Italy doesn't have nukes. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, lag. Oh, Cheetah actually got a bit bigger in this. They actually, okay. I think they're a bit was smaller in the. I think like these tiles didn't exist in the original. This was just this other part. Anyway, oh, we can integrate the troops. Yeah, redemption. Can we do anything here? World of development, return on investment. I'm gonna do the external investments. This is gonna give me some words, but that will not do that. We're done with that. We're gonna do Fate of Jadaga. Oh, that fucking bastard. Jesus. Now, how long until my... Okay. Dogs in the henhouse. The only day that they're tracking the street. Despite the rhetoric Sablin returneers, the men of the NQD, it seems as though they're simply exchanged one massive from another. Staring out of his window into the street, Sablin wondered if he had done the right thing. Magrenenborough had finally convinced him that it was necessary to rebuild the NKVD for that the aid that it provided the liberation of the rest of Russia. There's a use outweigh the crimes. Croatian ultimatum. Staring down the window, all sudden no, they wouldn't use NKVD the way that Jada had. It wasn't easy to convince the people of that. He noticed the questionable glances from more radical comrades giving him now that something that talk would stop as he entered the room. Most of all, he couldn't forget the look of the hurt betrayal of Suzanne's face when he spoke out at the trial in favor of reentering the NKVD. Taking a deep breath, Sablin steadied himself. No, he hadn't the time for doubt. He had to make the right decision. They needed the skill and training these men carry the torch of the revolution. Finally, feeling ready to face the central meeting, Sablin stomped downstairs into the street and tried to ignore the looks he got from people who had once looked up to him as their savior. The hardest thing to do is the right thing to do, are often the same. Yes, alright. Feel the yoga, okay. Go. And so we can actually keep him around. But before we do that, we are... Can I do this? Oh, because he's not around. He's not. We are gonna do this in our hearts. Start after that. Gaze burning with Virtual Gaga's scold at yellow from the docks. His sick-pitted face twisted with contempt. Undaunted Sablin stared right back. They had decided to hold their trial in the Opera House as a carnivorous space as they read the list of tyrants' crimes, though it's all Yoga didn't so much as flinch. Granted, Yariga and his court of soldiers and workers finds out guilty of all the charges led against you. What that now that you are finally responsible, how do you feel the slightest regret for the wild crimes you have committed against Russia and her people? Brown looked down at Jariga, trying his best to not look smug. Jariga turned his head freshly to look up at the Brown. When he spoke, it was... Let me actually turn off the music so I can see it. Let it be known that he punishment. While the court debated, Sablin stared at Jariga's eyes, and he tried to make sense of what he saw there. In the time in Jariga's service, Sablin had never met a man that he formed an image of his mind of a colossal, statuette figures beyond the simple humanity. It was easier to fight that entity than the short, haggard man who sat half sunken in the dock. Why had you become so hollow with hate? What had led to bash his hands in so much blood? Sablin felt an racing urge to see Yarga's extinguished. See the racing urge to see Yarga extinguished as much for the crime he had committed, for the grim vision that it could become if he gave into power's black temptation. And so, when Jagara's sentence was announced, 5 years on a prison farm, Salin's jaw clenched. Insufficient. The man was a tyrant, a murderer, a plunderer, an enemy of everything right and pure, consumed by sudden, while the Sablin yearned to leap forward, drag Yara into the mud and give him a justice he deserved. Hold on, give in. We are gonna hold on. I'm gonna save face for the people. Okay. Oh, interesting. In our heart. Ugh. Reintegrate. Okay, we have done reintegrating QD. We have this. We have the flight. Oh, that's with the terror bombings. Deals occurring. The collapse of the triumvirate. Italy's faction has collapsed. Yeah, look here. Yeah, they do still have their many puppet states in Africa, in the Levant, and over here. For some reason, they even have Yemen as a puppet state. But Turkey and Spain has officially left, and we're gonna do the People's Judgment. We can still do more. Well, we can do some industrial equipment. We can do civil power grid, train our troops, legal security control, investing. Let's see. We can what more production. Let's do the power grid to start off with. We got more of these. We can do more better guns, of course. So I think that's actually something we should do. Getting better guns would grid installed in Argentina. Interesting. Liberal radicalism. I can wait. Do they have a puppet? Uruguay? No. Who is that then? Let me check here. You, who the fuck are you? Oh, fuck you, bitch. What? Guarda Tierra del furthest down here, like. Okay. Conflict zone. Okay, this is the random ass guy that just hidden furthest down. Yes, doesn't do anything. But alright. People judgment. We're still working on that. We have a power grid. I don't know what that. Oh, that gives me a bunch because of now war in the desert. And we got Che Guevara released. We got 2 more men. Sablin join up. We got 2 official divisions only, but you know that's fine in the beginning. Secure control. We could do a political campaign, but let's get to that. We're just gonna keep on doing stuff. We can missing equipment. Oh, I still haven't missed a bunch. No, never mind. Imaging 1. I've seen. They usually do that. United forever. Let's do our home. This gives a bunch of industrial expansion, which is really good at this point. No, so the People's Justice. Swallowing the Justice? Oh, because we did the People's Judgment. Swallowing the rose in his throat, Sablin clenched his fist and calmed his eyes shut. With sleight of turn, sent him catapulting towards the enact vengeance upon him and all of the innocent he had killed. Teeth gringed, every muscle in his body tense as Yarega was led away. All that death, all that spilled blood for 5 years on our prison farm. So many have lost someone to Yarega's reign of terror, and this was his punishment. Breathing deeply, Sablin barely noticed as the opera house began to empty. Finally, he raised his hand and slowly opened his eyes. Squinting as they readjusted to the light. For the first time, he saw the mural that adorned the dome. It was an image of the October Revolution, of the workers storming the Winter Palace and the red flag unfurled and fluttering in the wind. Slowly, Sablin calmed himself, relaxing his shoulders, and reminded himself that this was what he was fighting for, the right of the people and to make their own justice without tyrant to force their hand. If he had indulged temptation to deliver the vengeance of murdered thousands upon Yadoga, he would have been an abdication of everything he stood for. Feeling a hand on his shoulder, Sablin turned Caesar look into Peshero's face. She gazed down at him with an expression of infinite compassion. Let us take heart. We fight for a brighter future, not to take vengeance upon the cruelty of the past by showing clemency. We demonstrated to the tyrant and all of the people of Russia that we will never repeat his crimes. Mercy, Valera. Mercy is our greatest weapon against the enemies of all that is just. Blinking away tears, Sablin smiled as he took the last glance at the mural. The two old friends left the opera house, shivering in the chill evening breeze. The ultimatum. Who are you? The people. You're not backed up that easily. Oh, now we just need to just rush over to the other side, which we're not going to be able to do. We have a military factory because we did this. This gives me a bunch of more military factories. We are going to with this. We're gonna let me see here. Do we have low anything? Guess guns. Not guns like that, but shit. Like the howitzer. That should work. There we go. I'm gonna work on those for a bit. I'm gonna put on music actually again in the background. In our homes has been completed. Now we can do workers council, or I'm gonna do these workers councils because we want the Sablins to be in. Now which side is that? It doesn't tell me. Gonna do because this gives me increase in this Sablin at the party. We're gonna keep working on that. Garrison slaughtered again. Yeah, go back into this army. Let me see here. So what we can do at this point is two more guys to join the army. Check on their economy tab. Yearly deficit. We are losing money at this point. So what we're gonna do is gonna lower. No, we don't want to task at a victory for the Scottish election. Is there a possibility to war taxes paid then? No, we wanna. You see how much we are losing. I'm gonna keep it like this for now, and as we begin to grow our nation in the future, we are gonna be able to switch over and get more stuff. The war councils are done. We may repair the roads. We don't want to rebuild the factories. That's kind of good actually. This gives me industrial expenditure, industrial equipment. This repair the roads is actually much better. We're gonna do that. Now the question is, how do we want to continue after this? Central Committee meeting number 24. The strike of a gavel turned a hushed clamor of the PAC committee meeting to gavel, like one of those things I remember. Meeting the committee to the silence. The official gathering was a packed opera house, watched the anticipation general secretary to take this. I accidentally pressed twice. Fuck. Oh, San Marino. Oh. Who's the Pope? John the 23rd. Damn. We have Bosnia here. We have Kingdom of Croatia here. The mustache man is still alive. Well, he only has a. There you go. Theater and parts of the. Oh, they actually lost right now. That explains. Who's here? Michael the First. And we have one giving him or doing other stuff. Repair the roads. That's gonna. The wheels begin to turn. Increases our GDP, which is really good. So if you check on the economy, it's still kinda. Inflation is still good. Our GDP has grown since November actually. Debt to debt is still 0. Inflation is pretty good because we don't want, as long as it doesn't go above like when it's like getting up at around like 5%, or I would start to get worried. I'm gonna try to follow the Swedish way of having 2%, around 2%, which means a mix between 1 and 3%. We can actually do this. And we don't have. Wait, why can't we do this? Oh, they have no gold, so we can't do that. Yeah, okay, Turkey wins the Turkish war. We're gonna do the United Forever. Check out the economy. It has gone up actually a bit better, because you see it was once 8.3 and now it's 7.9. Our economy is growing a bit. What do we have here then? With the Syrian National Republic, which is a Turkish ally, and you are not. You are just yourself. Adrift in the tide of memory. Otto Brown shuffled through the streets toward the opera house, riff streaming before him as he reached down, rhythmic old knees aching in the harsh beer cold. Boots crunching morning frost and covered the cobble like a hall of souls. Braun delved in the Palic depths on his memory all these years later, and his exile from Germany still long in his heart like a cruel dagger. The calendar had sliced years from his life, and he still had planned. And still, the pain did not fade. The dim year after his flight from prison in 1928 had been marked by failure and pain. The first by annihilation of the communist allies in China that had collapsed of the Soviet Union into a false and bickering shard, and still it worsened as he learned from the slow tide of information that rolled over the shattered Russia, that his once lover Olga had been murdered in Nazi death camps. She had burned so bright, and the fascists had snuffed a flame with him like they had done with so many others. He had loved her, loved how she. Still okay. Loved him. Blah 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 blah. Okay. With all the dust now, Lenin dreams lay crushed, and Olga moldered in a mass grave. Braun felt damaged, will broken against the wheel of time, regardless adventure. He had complained, ending his torment more than once. The Sablin and Pressure had come to him and he could speak of revolution and making mainstream again, living again. They were children, vainly idealistic, and yet could help but recall their memory. Mentor. There was also to become would happily give him the slightest chance to certainly might rise from the ashes like a phoenix, and yet no matter how many years pass, Olga's face would be forever burned into his mind. His mind's eyes beaming like during their dash in a prison through the icy field of distant Saxony. Give me the waters of left that numb the heart, and still I will be unable to forget. I'm sorry if I'm reading really badly. Yes. I'm trying. Just some industrial investment. Is willing to work. Oh, okay. Scavenge for some loot. What is this thing? Oh. Did that. What is the social armor reformation? What does that give me? It gives me some decent stuff. You can see, you can really feel that the mod is a bit laggy because, you know, it's still a bit old. Okay, no. Optimism in the anarchy. Okay. Let's try to actually speed up and actually get somewhere in this game because we're very far behind. We are going to the school construction. Oh, wait, let me actually get some industrial management. There's confederation fails. We are gonna make, what are we missing? Anti-tank equipment and support. I'm gonna work on those. We are gonna make some. We're gonna make some support equipment. We can create an agency. I thought we actually did that, but then apparently we didn't. All hands on deck. Woman to the arms. Apparently, I'm gonna stop reading and actually speed up through a little bit of the story. Place the dominant, steady reform. This gives me a bonus, less disability, get a gender equality, multiplication minus stock, but we get a bunch of factory bonuses. This gives me factory and we don't get a population. But we are gonna do steady reforms. Eric Kosh really nuclear bombing. Interesting. We have many factories. We have 4 factories. We can still have concrete bullshit. There we go. And war in the Madagascar. Now, what do we need here? Yeah, school is the most important, and then we need. No, wait. Yeah, hospital, military base would be interesting to get. And then some more. Let's finish the administrative offices. That should be enough. That's very good. Now they have nuclear power. So yeah, New Burgundy has 3 nuclear warheads. Fuck. I'm gonna try to like more read quickly them and just see if there's any like, interesting ones, and then I'll read the interesting ones. Bulgaria says to Germany. Like I said, we have no, but we do have 785. Let's see here. Yeah, our GDP is constantly growing. At least it's progress. This is about the woman. That's fine. Welsh Union elected. Hell yeah. United forever. Linus armed again. Yeah, we're getting everything on this stuff. Yeah, we do this. We can finally do this, right? No, they don't have. They still have no gold. So what are we missing? Support equipment. Doesn't work, god damn it. For me. Good job. Yeah. The revolutionary wheel. And now the torch of hope. We're soon getting closer and closer at this point. They're closing in on doing the Far Eastern free soldier. Grand Free Streamlet flees per by depleted something in Uruguay. Some AK-47s. We are going to work on vacuum tube. Give some basic research, which is very good. Reproduction units. Here we go. More work in civilian factories. Want a bunch of civilian factories. Yeah, work on civilian factories. Oh, now I see what it does. The more I put in here, the more stuff I get in. I understand. No, I thought it was just it like will work like the wait for no one. The was promising himself never to land. The enormous human. Yeah, okay, so it's like everything's getting better and he's more. And now, spreading the revolution. This should give me to. Yeah, alright. Spreading the revolution. It's time. Sheesh. You can join up. Get down and. Yeah. Restarting history. Reform from corporation. Reunite their families. This gives me. This gives me the Far Eastern Front. Alliance. I don't know what the actual election was back in the day. I keep working on doing these socialist army reforms and economic reforms. It gives me just a bunch of bonuses, which is really just needed at this point in the game. Because once we start to fight like Shia, Amur, Madagan, Magadan, once we get into like Tomsk, like the Tibetan Black Army, Cameron, like they are so powerful in every game apparently when I play. And then also when I get over here, like we need everything should be prepared. We're gonna and we're starting history. We're gonna make 3 more divisions. You I send you all in. Go here. I want you to go pretty much everywhere. Yeah, they're already here, but yeah, that's fine. They show a cavalry division. Well, it's a Turkic nation, so. Because if you click here, see here, that's Yakut, and Yakut is a Turkic people. Here we have Russian, here we have Bulgarian, here we have. They should actually be. I think there was actually a bit more Russian in this area, so I don't know what I feel about it. Issue the crisis. The Tokyo stock market has crashed. Just JLO launches land split. We have to send any activity out in the Philippines, the 2 largest rebel groups. Oh, there's okay. So stuff is happening in the Philippines. Oh yeah, look at this. So we have the USFIP, and then we have the Second Philippine Republic, and then we have up here we have the AFSR. So it's actually pretty much just. So this is pretty much just like democratic, like Western. Then we have like the communist, and this is just the Japanese lapdogs, pretty much. Which is interesting, and I agree with that. Progressive conservative triumph in Canada. It's interesting, actually. And we have the... They have no name, but I think there's called like the mandate of Siberia or something like that.
Так точно. Я готов. Смирно. Готов. Готов.
Okay, let me try to get... Oh,
Я готов.
yeah, I thought. What are we missing? Missing a lot of guns, apparently. Are we making an infinite amount of these? No, we're not. But we're losing a lot of here. Roll that failed. Spokesman from targeted armed forces today announced the failed coup to oust interim President Jose Maria Guaido. Okay, interesting. So we got a failed coup in Argentina. Interesting.
Смирно.
Like, I can't say because I don't know if about that much about the Cold War to know how much this is. Oh, doctrine available. We are going to go for my operations. I don't know about like who's in South Africa and South America and stuff like that to know how much is actually, you know, real or not. Get another one of these, so we're gonna do some of this other Russian build construction. How is it? Wait, man, of the 38 was 800 guys. Yeah, stay on there. And a bunch of wars now more in the Siberia. So we get this. So we get the Siberian Black Army attacking Tomsk, and Tomsk is also fighting Novosibirsk, and they're also fighting Kemerov. It's like a four-way war going on. Interesting. Just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep heading. Yakutsk. Skirmish for loot, we can do that again actually, but we're gonna keep doing this warlord development and doing external investments. And we're actually gonna do some infrastructure, but this one. When Peruvian elections on 1963. We cannot do this one because we haven't finished the war yet. So, but we're soon there. We're soon there. It's just a matter of time. You're going there, that's fine. You're gonna attack to halt them. You're also gonna go in there. Now you are gonna rush all the way here. Crossing this river is gonna take a little bit, but after that we should be fine. We should be fine. Okay, that's a bit better. The Caucasus in the South China Katsin Burns, which is a city somewhere. If the issue of agrarian land reforms way we listen. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're still working on that. Gods in the north. The north awakened us. We must prepare for this new threat, the mandate of Siberia. And they actually have a focus tree. Damn, that's cool. should play that nation one day. Do they, like, when I say that? Yeah, they do have shit actually. They
Жду
do.
приказа.
Wonder what that makes if you. And yeah, good. It's gonna be taken to. And we win the wars now then. We can do new. The freedom of their corporation. I see.
Готов.
Put my line on this here.
Слушаю.
Skill got 1000 down on guns now, which is negative. We are gonna find where I can here integrate,
Я готов. Слушаю.
so you can actually hurry and get to where you need to go. An ultimatum! Divine Mind is we won't that easily. We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that. Prophecy. What are you? Decisions. Oh, well, we don't. We've done what we need to. Let's do this one. And next one we can do salvage the equipment, which would be really needed actually. Oh shit, the enemy is defeated. Good job. The Lobster War and it's between German Central Afrique, which is this one, and the in Brazilian. So it's pretty much the Cod Wars. They're just making fun of the Cod Wars, but the Cod War doesn't exist because the United Kingdom and Iceland doesn't exist in this game. So just make another one, because it's just funny, but you know, stupid. Yeah, I know. Nice little reference, anyway. Still got the guns, salvage equipment. We are.
Я готов. Так точно.
Are you gonna get on?
Смирно.
Are you gonna get?
Смирно.
Okay. So Amr is at this point where I didn't know. Who are you fighting? Oh, you're actually here. Oh, you're pretty much just timer 2 at this point. Alright. You're fighting Siberia. So if Siberia's still fighting Toms, they got they did take Novosibirsk. The Verona conference. Camera. We did take the equipment. Now we want to integrate their armies. What does that give actually? It gives me military experience, slight decrease in military supervision. We get a bunch of the manpower, and every unit leader joins the Broad Autonomous Socialist Republic. So we get the general, and then we're gonna reunite the families, and we're gonna do the Soviet experiment, and then we'll do the Far Eastern War. I don't even think we can do any Regent of Egypt. Interesting. I don't think we're having a war, thanks, right? No. But we do have this 200 troops. With Sigrids, if I'm no secret. Jamaica declares independence. I know someone that will be happy with hearing that. It's an inside joke, by the way. They're still a puppet. Alexander Bustamante. They have an economy. It's Coca-Cola and it says American capitalism. Yes, of course. They also are a member of the American sphere. They have West Africa representation. Miracle of the Hope River and political violence. What do I have when it comes to that kind of stuff? Like if I press on myself, I have a planned economy where it's not a member of any sphere. No one wants to be my friend. No one likes me. We have integrated armies. And the camera conquered, and then these guys. Just. And now we're gonna reunite the families. I wanna read what this is. Finally, with two nations acting as one, we will prosper all the more from it. For it. However, some voices echo through that we should do more than just bring them in, looting, plundering, raiding. They have all torn apart marriages, children from parents and their communities that remain divided. We will not. Okay, we will not only. Minister, we will not only accept the partisans of Yucatan, we will guide them to their home, reunite them with their loved ones, and we'll help their wounds. Oh, okay. And we have a new leader in India. We have, yeah, and Thailand lost their king. Japan is here. Wait, what is it? What are you? Provincial government of Malaya. Interesting. But, oh, they do have Singapore as well. No, they don't. Oh, yeah, no, they do. They do. And there we have Republic of Indonesia, which is also an ally, but I think they can actually switch out of that. The Soviet spirit. What's their economy doing? It's 20% down now. What's costing that much? The military expenditure, because we are constantly. See? I'm gonna do some. This doesn't cost anything, so it's fine. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're actually gonna push up the expenditure just because inflation has a money creation. And do that. That will push up the inflation a little, but it's fine. And it gives me a bit more money. I can help people with my GDP. We're doing with Far Eastern War. We only have 5 divisions, so it's fine. Demanded the Pacific Fleet, which is Kamchatka. Kamchatka was one. This here, Kamchatsky, was one of them. Is still one of the main naval bases of Russia, and was in the Soviet as well, along with Vladivostok. And the reason for it is because it's a warm border port, meaning that it doesn't freeze in like for example Magdan will, and there's a city here as well somewhere. Like here, Moscow, it also freezes in the middle of the winter. Amir is fighting a 2-front war. For reason gives me an actual. It gives me a little nice trait. It gives me division speed, winter attrition, and I have nothing more to do now. Nope, we don't. We're gonna get a small event or something. German Civil War. Interesting. We actually do have. Oh, look at that. Tragedy and forest in exile against all tyrant. We can't do this because I'm not worked on. Okay, we do this one. The Harbin Free. Okay, so this is just about the. So, if I look this up, we can do. Yeah, we can do. We're gonna start by defunding the Tsar. We're gonna repeat and just execute some imperial families of him, you know. Like an Siberian city. We're just gonna execute the royal family, but that's never happened before, you know. When did that ever happen? In what year did that ever happen? Like 1918, but when did that ever? Never heard of it. Damn, Tomsk is fucking on the roll. Hans Spiedel assumes control of Germany. He's like, yeah, we have the Spanish role in government. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening. So. Expansion into Africa, the wars over. Right. English Civil War begins. And this also leads to no more terror bombings for the Russians. Hidden here. Invasion of Africa Shield. There's a lot of stuff gonna happen right now. Because this now everything pretty much goes down. We're gonna go down a little bit in speed. Serbia's rise up. Like there's super much going on. So we have the Republic of Ukraine. We have a bunch of nations right here. This one is one I want about the Centrala Rada, which is pretty much the Central European government. There's also, let me see here. Oh wait, yeah, here, the Jews, United Partisan Organization, would be really fun. Yeah, we have the Warsaw Uprising, and then we have the Spear. We have Heinrich Reinhardt. We have Bormann, and we have. I've played Spear like multiple times. It's really fun. Go down, motherfucker. You need to go down, motherfucker. Let me see what we have more to do. We can build hospitals. We can. A lot of people that are one of the partisans. Nope. Against all tyranny. Sablin mounted a hastily constructed stage that is squared against the opera house to address his supporters, who turned out in their thousands to hear him speak. Walking carefully, he half afraid that the platform would collapse. Sablin approached the microphone. The Ombudsman Network Committee had to tap in the microphone twice to make sure it was working. He began, "Comrades," he boomed over the plaza. "Our revolution has triumphed over its first adversary, the despot Yaroga." Thunderous cheers erupted in the crowd. The clump were forming a low layer of mist in a cold morning. Smiling, Sablin continued, "But our mission is not yet done. Still, Russia lies broken and divided. Her corpse picked up by the Tsars, the revengenists, and the fascists. It's in the manifest duty of our revolution to liberate the oppressed people of Russia and to build a new nation, faithfully to the immortal science of Karl Marx and Lenin. We will not rest until Russia is united by the social revolution from the Baltic to the Pacific." We have he was forced to pause there. Jesus, my brain. He was forced to pause there as the cacophonous approval from the crowd would have drowned out everything he said. As the cheering died, the crowd had drowned out anything he said. As the cheer died down, he continued, "For those who are downtrodden, we bring hope. For those who believe in a brighter future, we bring deliverance. For the enemy of the people, we bring nothing but defeat. We stand against all tyranny. Comrade, we march east to bring liberation and to cast down the tyranny. Long live Marx, Lenin, and the social revolution." Grinning from ear to ear, Sablin raised his fist, driving the crowd wild with revolutionary fervors. The evening they would begin the march east, they could already taste the sweetness of victory. Oh my god, yeah. You're so right, you're right. I guess I don't know. Yeah. Very nice. OnlyFans window, big boy. Bro, no, don't worry. My girlfriend has OnlyFans, and I'll be in that, doing some sexy pictures, We're gonna start this out. I'll be right back. I'm gonna keep it on 1 speed, and I'm just gonna rush to the toilet. I'll tell her you said it. What do you mean? She told me herself. We talked about it. You can go and tell her how much you want. Tell her how much you want. She will probably like, oh, did he now? And then she'll just, get happy. Yo, what? Hold up. What? And I saw something that I want to check out. What? There's a lot of nations. This. Here. Operation Zone Astrakhan. Or Astrakhan. We have Operation Zone Volodonsk. We have SPG winners. What the fuck? We have Russian Democratic Council. None of these have, unfortunately. We have Sonder Svarsgrava Tambo. Okay, I can't say that. Operation Pensa Shinskans. We have the Tuir Republic. We have Notfall Vervait Lutung. Okay, I can't say this. Plus the Basagi Black Brigade. Operation Zone plus. Okay. SS Action Group. Moscovian. We have the Red Star United Army. Another one of these. And we have St. Petersburg up here. Where was the other people? Here. The Free Smolensk Revolt. We have Operation Zone Bjansk Solen Brigade. Interesting. There is a lot of Molen Milorku in Norway. Hell yeah. Wait a minute, something. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. We have the African Consulate. I'm gonna keep getting more money. I'm gonna scavenge more for loot. So we're gonna see what happens. Monkey. Wait, Sultan, how long until you get your new PC? Like, how long would you estimate? Like a few more weeks or months? You get more.
Смирно. Готов.
No, the idea we're gonna want to try to cut off. Yeah, there we go. Declare war on the Republic of Pavloda. That is here. Yeah. Now this is cool. Nova Polska. Literally Polish rule in Kazakhstan. That's so cool. About a week. Wait, have. So it's gonna take like 1 week and then like another week for you to set up everything, like a building. I know, the big greasy hands you have. It's gonna happen anything with that. The dissolution of the West East Indies. No. It's gonna take like 2-3 weeks for you to get all the parts as well. So.
Так точно. Я готов.
You go here. Okay. Go down, motherfucker! You need to go down, motherfucker! We are gonna get some more here. There we go.
Я готов.
Yeah, got that.
Смирно. Слушаю. Смирно.
We're gonna get no support. I'm not gonna get any support from here. Go down, motherfucker! You need to go down, motherfucker!
Смирно.
And you attack here. You attack here.
Я готов.
It's a Serbian territory. Stop that attack for now. Cameroonian African state, whole Euroblend. That is the right here. Interesting. There are a few. The French military alliances are gone. Okay. Well, I already partially built the whole computer. It's like to get 2 parts unable to play that is. Oh, okay. I thought like you were gonna wait just to not because of the cost and shit like that. So that's why I didn't do the entire thing. Go down, motherfucker! You need to go down, motherfucker!
Жду приказа.
Channel rights, damn. Trying to break out.
Я готов.
No, don't you know how to go? Did he kill? Oh, wait, he did. No, he's what? He's just sending troops this way. Okay. Fine, you do that. You do that. Do that. Do it. That don't. See, look how I'm giving a shit. You see that?
Готов.
Does this look like I'm giving a shit? Damn, well, I'm not. We got an airbase captured. Yeah, we won. Hooray. Now we can do Shatter the Crown. What we do against... Let's do against the Nazis.
Так точно.
We're gonna do this. Go down, motherfucker! Where you go down, motherfucker? And he's sending all the troops now to the... And it's a little nice that you can take the capital and you pretty much just win. Because it's all warlords and they have like one province. It's just you take one. Reproduction! There you go. We're gonna do one more civil war. And we can get more guns for them.
Жду приказа.
Oh shit, we already won. Damn, I didn't even have time to prep my men.
Так точно.
Which is actually pretty bad because I don't have my men ready. They're all so far away. Ah shit. So you political science, you're coming to Brussels. Is it a job? No, it's not a job. It's I'm coming to Brussels, or I'm not like I haven't asked for it or anything like that. But I'm coming to Brussels as pratique. Because they're giving us pratique within the European Union.
Мирно.
But I haven't like applied for it. I'm not allowed to apply for it for like next year or something like that. Like it's gonna be a while until I get it. So
Так точно.
I'm just like the course just gives the like I thought when I was checking up.
Жду приказа.
Run! Go down, go down, motherfucker! You need to go down, motherfucker.
Жду приказа.
Well then, only has one, right? No.
Смирно.
Go, motherfucker! You need to go down, motherfucker.
Смирно.
Tinder, you attack here.
Смирно.
Please, sit. What the fuck? I was already almost there, and then it just decided, no, fuck you, game. Fuck you.
Слушаю.
Jesus, makes sense. Swedish boy in Brussels phone. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like put on that false French that I learned, and I got like an E in. I got an E in French.
Я готов.
I got an E for effort, or an F for fucking
Жду
idiot.
приказа.
Push them out. There we go. We can actually do more. We can do Shattered Crown, which we are gonna do. But
Готов.
I wanna get some. I'm gonna get some sparkling water. I love sparkling water. I'm addicted to sparkling water. Who needs drugs when you have sparkling water? These sparkling waters, I'm just gonna show. These are small, like glass bottles of sparkling water. Cost $40 to buy. 40 Swedish, which is approximately 4. Like I bought, what is it? 12 of these small ones for €4. I don't know if that's much or not, but I have drinking half of these in one day. I don't know how much is a water bottle in Brussels. How much can you buy sparkling water for in Brussels? How much can you buy sparkling water in Germany? Like, anyone tell me? Tell me how much you buy sparkling water, bottled sparkling water for. 12 of these, yeah, 12 of these small ones for €4. There were 40 Swedish, and 10 Swedish is €1. Oh, no. Great deal. It was? Alright, then I did a good
Что
job.
приказано? Так точно. Слушаю.
We can have pity. Sablin went down to the stairs leading to the cell as his boots echoing off the flagstone. With a creak, Sablin swung the door open, revealing a pitiful form of Mikhail, the false czar. His military uniform dirty and torn, he jerked his head and looked at Sablin as he entered, his eyes sunk and fearful, his face covered by the weak warmth of scraggly beard, a Sablin face screwed up in disgust. He stank. Had his soldiers not allowed him to wash, it was better than they were better than this. And Mikhail Andreevich, what do you know? Do you know? Michael nodded pathetically as Sablin continued. I'm sorry for the state of your condition. I will arrange for this to be reminded immediately. Before I could go any further, the false hole lurched from his bench to growl his knees. Sablin took an involuntary step back as he was assaulted by the reek of Mikhail's breath. Sablin commanded Sablin, I beg of you. I have been saying over, I was nothing more than a pawn for the hardliners. Comrade Sablin, please, I beg you, you must believe me. Suddenly, he floundered forward, grabbing Sablin's legs as he began to nuzzle weep, tears not running down his face. Comrade Sablin, I wish only to go home. Please have mercy. I love Russia and her people. Long live the socialist revolution. I beg you, comrade, allow me to return home. I will never trouble you again. Sablin started to stare down the false Tsar, his face contoured with a mixture of pity and disgust. It was true in part. Mikhail had been a pawn of the rightist, but hadn't he also chosen to come to Russia and claim his phalanxist birthright through the reserve of the labor camp? Perhaps it would be if the can't let the big pad put him on a ship bound for Australia, the distant land across the way where an exiled prince could find a home. I think it came from Australia. In the lore, he's from Australia. I think he lived there as well in real life, this guy. Have pity on him. I'm gonna let him go back to Australia. Like, there's no point in having another having. Oh, I can already do this. Give me a bun. Gives me one shot now. Depend. Oh, wait, here. Big bottle, small. It's small bottle. Depends on you buy like an actual brand of water of the store. Like the brand of the store could be cheaper. Okay, like this one I'm drinking right now is like an actual store. It's actually nice. Oh, don't attack you. I want this guy's away. So, because this brand I'm drinking is just actual, you know, it's pretty famous in Sweden. It's one of the big brands, but it's still pretty. I guess 20 is just cheap. Okay, West Africa one. Oh, look at that. That's a nice thing. They're actually gonna do like. I really wish they do like Free France gets a own focus tree. Well, big brands are more expensive, but they're pretty affordable. Oh, like there's only like 2 real brands, Swedish brands. A Message of Hope. Thinking about the military stuff or about the economy. Cannot do anything more.
Я готов. Слушаю.
Stay on the attack now. And as these guys are coming in, we're gonna turn down towards Tinda. Towards Saya, I mean, to finish off where we started. Is Harbin is right here? Wait, come on. Brodoshevsky, but I think that is what Harbin is. Which is the city where many Russian fascists fled. There we go.
Я готов.
Move in.
Смирно.
No, and they reinforced it. Oh, fuck off.
Так точно.
Stay on them. We want you to do more. Trophies. 3 civilian factories. We have done this one. They're satisfied. They're satisfied with schools as well. They do want hospitals. We're gonna do it. We're gonna build 1 hospital, and it's gonna build, of course, in Irkutsk. And then we're gonna build 1 military base. It's gonna be right here. And then we're gonna build another hospital, and we're gonna build that in Chita. You know, we're spreading it out.
Так точно.
Says captured. Now, where is the next capital? Or they only have to win actually to be captured. They recaptured it. That's why they're motherfuckers. They're only 44% towards capitulation. This mod is pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Готов.
Like, have you been watching the entire stream? Because like I've been like switching between like, do you want me to like go over all the events and read all the messages that comes up, or do you want me to like, you know, keep going?
Смирно.
Yeah, take the city. Or Bangladesh. I think that's not the city.
Так точно.
Back right here. Read them all. I'm interesting. It's interesting. Okay, then I'll keep reading them all. Could you get in here? I'm not gonna read this. This is too flash. I'm not reading this. I'm reading. We're doing it through. Checking my economy. 9% of my GDP. Gobble gobble. Weeble weeble. Gobble gobble weeble.
Смирно.
Stay on them. I'm gonna
Смирно.
push them in here.
Слушаю.
Come on. Look at that.
Смирно.
You can push your good. Gobble gobble. Weeble weeble. The Kazakh Social Republic declares war on Kazakh. Oh. Like, this is the Kazakh Social. Yeah, this is Kazakh Social Republic. Pavlodar is also fighting. Gabba gabba. Whoop.
Смирно. Смирно. Жду приказа. Я готов.
Oh, push them out there. Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan. More. Wait, who the fuck? What? Who do they fucking want? Oh, the People's Revolutionary Council. Push them down here. That should be enough once we take them. Maybe? Oh, I've lost a lot of men in this. Yeah, but we are, you know, finally killing off.
Смирно. Жду приказа.
There we go. Come on, money. Oh, money. Oh, why did you open this door? Money. Some, We are gonna to work on better. Thank you. The French has defeated Mali. Oh. And we have new doctrines that can be made. We have no chief of the army. We can actually put stuff in there. Oh, we're slaughtering these guys. Finish these guys stuff now. Yeah, we are closing in on the I just need more men at this point. What we are gonna do is we're gonna claim that. Look at that. Now the question is, how many men do you have? 5, 5, okay. Nothing. That's nothing. We are going to do end the ski. Offensive. Offensive. Parlez-vous français? Oh. Look at that. Look at free France. Jesus. Fruta full. Okay. Ghana is Benin. State of Usulo, which is this one, declared war on St. George. These guys can later form the Eurasian Council. Le Format, as you know, Le Ost, oh my god. Le Format. I got a free dockyard. Oh. Do I even have any convoys? Train. We have 9 in stockpile. We have no trucks. We have no convoys. We're gonna make some convoys to start off with, but we're gonna switch over. And my division's actually ready for this one. And we are gonna do smash this swastika. Let's get my troops just to walk in. What was that? No, it was this guy. No. Somewhere. Oh, there's done. Alright. You will go all the way up to Maliban. We're already surrounded. This group. Ah, yes, the Great Navy. We should just make destroyers. That's all we need. Look at any modern day navy today, and they will just show like it's just destroyers. There's like it's aircraft carrier destroyers and like cruisers and corvettes. Like there's no battleships or anything like massive. Port of Magdan captured. That's not true. We haven't taken it yet. Yeah, Port of Mag. We haven't even captured it yet. So you gotta like calm your tits now, man, boys. I know you want to celebrate that we're taking shit, but we haven't taken it yet, so you know. It's much else to got. Tyrants of war. Muds shook the hooves of Sablin and Morgan's horses as they rode into the village at the Manchurian border. Accompanied, I think it's this one. They meet somewhere. I know. They're accompanied by a small group of soldiers, slowly cantering between the valley and the huts. Sablin clouded emerged with his horse as they glanced into the empty huts. There was not a face to be seen. The village had fled into the hills at their approach. At least the 2 commanders arrived in the center of the village to confirm or themselves the report of their scout. Ranging on his horse, Sablin looked up into the face of the Konstantin Rodzewski. The rope around his neck. Oh, it's this guy. The Ruben is McCray was a swayed, lifeless face already being to bloat and turn purple. His eyes started empty in the overcast Siberian sky. A thought lolling between swollen lips. Sally looked into those eyes, set into a face of concern with a final expression of black fury. To be hanged from a tree by his own subject in a filthy village on the edge of his would-be emperor seemed a fitting end to such a man as Rosaisevsky. Furrowing his brow, Sablin wondered if his life too would end in this violence. Well, said the major, as thought he felt a need to break the silence. So it goes. I only wish I'd got my hands on him first. Still, the Far East is ours now. Commander Sablin wasn't in the mood for Machete's neutrality. Sachi looked over his shoulders at the soldiers. Cut him down and bury him, Commander. I want to ride back over sunset. Turning back, watch the would-be washed, slowly rotating in the evening breeze. Hours later, after they arrived back at camp, Sablin could still see Rukashevsky's purple, bloated face in his mind's eye. For weeks, his dreams would be haunted by the image of a slowly rotating, whispering Sablin's dark fears through his cold lips as the rope spun, creaking, always creaking. All men face the same fate in the end. Interesting. The Lord's World. This is about this one. This is about this guy. I'm not gonna read it. This is a minor thing. Ivanov was a different stir. Is it this guy? No, it wasn't. It was a different stir of deep naps, and he would get himself into. He would often take a guard, slamming against something with the butt of his rifle and rave and raw shout to wake him. He would hear one morning. However, it was not unfriendly voice of a guard who hated his being, but the warm shouting tones of Pushkin, a man he'd met in the camp ever since he arrived. It took him a few moments to awake, but when he did, the words formed coherently as they started as a dump from Pushkin, who was smiling brightly. They're here, Ivanov. They're here. She particularly leaped towards Pushkin. He groggily moved back and forth, being tackled down to his bed as he was locked in a tight and one-sided hug. "Ooh, get off me," he muttered, and Pushkin obliged. "Who are they? You mean the Vosh is here to be executed for us being homosexuals?" he said, laughing at his own dark humor before Pushkin shook his head vigorously. "No, you idiot! It's the camp! It's been liberated!" While Sablin, his eyes shot wide, has defeated the Vosh. Has defeated the Vosh? Don't you understand? The tremors already began becoming up in arms, and it was difficult to chipper facade. It's like Pushkin's eyes were lit with tears. "We're free, even we can finally make that cabin, just like we promised. Remember?" Gave a slow nod, then swallowed, limp, trembling, and he smiled. "Yes, Ivanov began. I remember." He gave a short, sharp chuckle. "Yes, Ivanov began. I remember." Give a short chuckle. I felt some strength coming back, and he stood up. "I told you, didn't I?" He took a deep breath, and he couldn't prevent the look from dripping down his cheek. He couldn't pretend to be strong for Pushkin. He didn't have to anymore. Not anymore. And I always said to so hope, and we have finally found it. So I think it is So that's interesting. Who is justifying against me? Why are you? Yeah, you're fighting me, so it doesn't matter because I'm gonna kill you anyway. So here I got low manpower. Well, no manpower. That's welcoming. Yeah, that's actually I like that. We no longer got stuff against that. This is really bad. I don't have no manpower. There we go. Now we have only one real battle left to fight. Bring the sword. We have 10 divisions out of 15. We're gonna do despite this. Decapitate the serpent. The world moves on. Alexei looked up in the apartment window to the Saya Street, which is, I don't know what Saya is right here, right? Yeah. On the Saya streets below, the snow-covered paths were cleared down in the way they were just like him. They had marched to beat the Vosh. Vosh is pretty much, you know, the leader. And they had fought the same dream as him. They just, just like him, they had beaten and been defeated. The only thing that saved him from the fate of rehabilitated labor was his age. Perhaps these new Bolsheviks had some sort of morality, unlike those that came before. He dismissed the thought almost immediately. They were worshippers of those that burned Tambov and pillaged Siberia after all, and they had more. And have they had any morality, they wouldn't have fought against the dream of liberation from Bolshevism. Whatever the case, it was out of his hands now. The dream was dead, and some any chance of revenge against those who had butchered his family. No Russia for old men. Interesting. We still have this one. Oh, Judas one. And my man is not ready? No. Shit, okay. We can integrate this. We are gonna send, and we are just gonna let the game run at full speed while we are just gonna get in there. Probably have no fucking once we get done. Like, yeah, that gives me a little bit. The trial Mikhail Matkov, which was the guy who controlled this area. Strong nation, that's wholesome. Yeah, it is. Mikhail Alexeyev Machovsky. The court of soldiers and workers found you guilty of crime against the Soviet Revolution and common people of Russia. Drowned Brown from the bench, and in the gallery the audience jeered and flung insults to Matkovsky. The 3 days of cheerful interviews with the recently liberated inmates of the camps were erased any hope of clemency the tyrant had been holding out for. Sablin watched with a smirk as Matkovsky clenched his fist and ground his teeth, staring at Braun with bulging eyes. For our crimes, this court sentences you to 20 years in relative labor in the service of the revolution. Finishing Braun, cleansing his hands. Had you anything to say? Yes, spat Makovsky, shooting his feet in chorus in the riddle from the gallery. I reject the illusions of the so-called court. This is nothing more than a Bucharest show trial, a travesty of justice. However, what authority do you try me? Filled with sudden rage, the tyrant Wiesn Sablin snatched the carpenter's hammer and were using to gavel and slammed it against the bench. The bang erupted through the hall and like a gunshot, much of his satisfaction. The fascist flinched, standing and filling his voice with vitriol. Sablin said, "Tyrant, we try you by the authority of the workers and the peasants you oppressed. Here then, fascist." The cry out for justice, thrusting his arms in the direction of the gallery. He was rewarded with a cacophony of yelling and stomping from the gathered masses. After that, Makovsky was dragged away, screaming threats that went ignored. Grinning ferociously, Sablin felt himself filling up with joy. Of triumph and ordeal the crowd. The scourge for the east has been cast down by his hand. Now he could turn his gaze on the west. Soon all of Russia would be free of tyrants and oppression. Fascism is capitalism plus murder. I'm just gonna do this. Those are really... No, shit, that's not what I want to do. Remove that, please. Can I please remove it? There we go. We're just gonna do this instead. Then let me see what we have to do. We can do the Man of God. That gives me a bit of bonuses. Let me check on my economy. We are closing in on actually paying off the... We have excess revenue. Oh. What do you mean can't? What do you mean can't? What did I say something wrong? Building schools. Oh yeah. We're gonna keep doing this external. Okay, something like this. Can't wait to play Warframe again. Oh, yeah, even I feel interested in playing Warframe again. I'm gonna keep doing all those communism stuff. There's nothing here for me to do. We are gonna do nuclear. Yeah. Never mind them. Oh, we couldn't do it. Okay. We have aircraft apparently. No, they're just a bunch of transport. Doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna keep going. I haven't hung out with the boys in Hoi. Aw, I'm sorry. What the fuck? You fool. Head there immediately. Go. Don't be shy. Well, like I haven't been... Like I saw you talk to Jesper and the boys, but then other than that, I haven't seen you around that much. Well, that's just one time. Okay, come on then. This gives me the war... A war of restraint. The war against the holy. No reason to fear. This gives me... You know, this gives me like... Nah. The war had the restraint. It is 100% loss. We lost. That's a great setback. But we will recapture it pretty quickly anyway. We lost some production, but that's fine because we're gonna retake it. We're just gonna go in like this. There we go. Yes, but do we become constantly asking? Yeah, but he's been asking me as well. But we need to play the... That's something we need to play. We need to play Tarkov, so. Then we're gonna recapture the other plant. Let's check on the civil war over here. See, let's do the specification. We got Borman here. We got Goering here. Yeah, it's gonna be. And Heinrich is still holding out in Luxembourg. Soon, brother. Yeah. Oh, they're just rising all over the place now. Well, I have troops to, you know, quell these uprisings. No, I don't want it to turn. You are gonna move on Oman after this. Another airbase last shit doesn't matter. Hurry up and get down there. When do we have? We have 3,000 guns. So that's gonna do that.
Смирно.
So we're gonna do that. Let me see what more we have. Reintegration, that gives me a bunch of manpower, and we want the manpower
Так точно.
because this is
Я
these
готов.
guys are moving around, which is good. Gonna halt this offensive,
Слушаю.
and we're gonna attack. There we go.
Смирно.
Oh, I see. You're trying to like, what the? Oh, they're like constantly spawning. That's bad. It's fucking boring. No longer the far eastern front. It's just not that good.
Смирно. Смирно. Я готов. Готов.
Gonna do Q. Tomsk is about to. They still need to fight you. You have still not unified, which is good for me. Hmm. Yeah, go right there.
Смирно.
You can attack,
Готов.
and you can go in here. Come on, kill these guys off. And there we go. You can go. Now go and deal with these.
Смирно. Смирно.
Yeah, I'm just created the central little thing. I'm sorry for not talking. I can do vortexes. I am gonna do vortexes, and that gives me surplus. What we are going to do, Onyx, neglect our GDP grow. Yeah, our GDP growth a little bit. Trying to look like the real US are again, somewhat.
Жду приказа.
Okay, I'm gonna do like this. Okay.
Я готов.
Wait, that's here. We are gonna do this. It's already up. No, we had 11, but it told me. More guns. You, what do you want? Yeah, all we want to do is from us. We want to like show that we're not enemies. We're nice people, but like. Yeah.
Смирно.
Yeah, we recaptured the airport.
Так точно. Слушаю. Жду приказа. Готов.
You go there, you go there. Keyword starting. well.
Я готов.
Let me see here. Struggle against theocracy. This will take measures to lessen the impact of local patronage. Oh. We got more stuff to do here. Yep. More civilian factories. Bunch of these kind of stuff.
Я готов.
We're gonna go up and attack right here.
Смирно. Смирно.
how long until we are done with this. We're not even have to wait. But we have at least killed more than those guys, which makes me up. Let me see on the... Those are... it's getting sad, I guess. Well, I think this means we're at least gonna be able to surround the region. Once we start... Come on, kill this guy. I think I'm just gonna switch around to... Go here. And you go here. He's gonna try to like turn it on like, yeah, he's gonna try down like that. Try to stop that. And of course, it's gonna be tough. We just need to just crack open on this region here. Such a absolute. Oh wait, yeah, of course we have naval. The water naval, I guess. Like. So you go here, and then you go here. And you go here. We wanna try to close them off. So let me check up on how the world is going. Yatka, who is led by Vladimir III, is one of the, and then we have Georgi Sukha, we have Samara by Vaslav. We have these guys down here. We have Omsk, is probably Omsk or I think Omsk or like Uber is gonna like unify like the Urals. Then we have the Central Republic. We have the Siberian Workers Federation. If these guys win, we can. I think you're able to unite with them, so that could be cool. Wait, that was stupid move by you. What do you think? You go on and kill. They didn't just attack. This is gonna be interesting to queue. We just have to keep playing defensively at this point, I think. And once we can get these forces up, we're working on these guys. How many men does these guys push to Leviathan? They have 14 divisions, I have 15 divisions. My deployment stockpile isn't equal as strong as these guys. They have 2,000 manpower, so they're pretty equal in that sense, but I am killing off more and more guys here, so. There we go. Attack. Try to push these guys out. Better guns. How the fuck are we not pushing these guys? More divisions, go. One of you is gonna go here. Okay, so we need to deal and finish these guys off at this point. We're missing some equipment. Where's artillery? put you on the making for our artillery. We need to actually upgrade our artillery once we get a chance. So.
Жду приказа. Слушаю. Готов. Жду приказа.
To recapture that city.
Так точно. Слушаю.
What the fuck is this? Anarchy? What the fuck? Fetching world data price. Interesting. I like it just says anarchy like that.
Слушаю. Готов. Я готов. Готов.
We are not we're not breaking them here. Did they actually like once we get like, you know, these boys here, so but at this point we can't because
Слушаю. Жду приказа. Смирно.
no, did I press it? No, I didn't.
Слушаю. Готов. Так точно. Смирно. Готов. Так точно.
Oh no, break these guys. Break them. What's the economy doing? We're actually we have a bit of a surplus, but we're doing war taxes, so you know.
Смирно.
Oh yeah. The ugly truth.
Слушаю. Так точно.
Three civilian factories. What do we need? More military. We need more hospitals as well. Eat it up, spit it up. Done there.
Я готов. Жду приказа.
Do that. Like, and actually, how fucking long? Jesus, God, we haven't even pushed. Keep pushing even. When you push more and further in.
Готов. Готов. Смирно.
So we're not pushing them here. It's that we have so many divisions that is like stuck here.
Смирно.
We are closing in on destroying these guys though, so. Oh shit. Sorry about that. Division go.
Готов.
Oh, we're not breaking those guys either. Jeez.
Смирно.
Did we break these guys? We did. So
Жду приказа.
we did break these guys as well. So we are pushing them here. Now let me check on supplies actually. Where we have a supply line. I can that doesn't work like that apparently. No, they do have a train line up here. But they have no train line here, so hey, let me see. Yeah, one supply hub right here. That's all they have. What do I have? A few down here. But I don't have the other train line is connected because I have like, you know.
Слушаю.
Oh shit. So
Смирно.
push up here. You push around like that. Come on, kill this guy. This one guy. You in response of just. Okay, so he's trying to do something. He's trying to get to a port, I guess. And of course, someone else decided to come here and spoil my fun. No, you all gonna tank here. That's. We need to close him on that capital. Did you just launch it? The United?
Готов.
That was what he wanted to do. He was trying to do. Okay.
Так точно. Слушаю.
But, oh shit, we lost the port. Oh shit, I'll tell that again. Oh. Man, when you were saying that I was starting to come together, and now I'm like, no, it's not coming together anymore. Come on, we just need to. Once these three has died, I'm just gonna send them off here to, finish up this line. There we go. Go. You. French victory. Woo. We gotta do this, and then I'm just gonna eat that in.
Смирно.
We are gonna keep this division left here as a defensive.
Слушаю.
You, I'm gonna keep going. We capture the port.
Слушаю.
Go all the way up here on top.
Жду приказа.
Yes, leave this region. Let's do that dumb, please.
Слушаю.
Oh, you go here.
Слушаю. Я готов. Смирно. Жду приказа.
Okay, let me see here now. It's 1965 in August. Come on. There we go. We want to do military base construction.
Слушаю. Готов. Смирно.
You will go down here.
Слушаю.
Let's do this one time here.
Так точно.
Okay, what do we want more?
Смирно.
Let's do that. Oh shit.
Жду приказа. Смирно. 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 Готов. Смирно.
So how is it going? Okay, we have still had the central. How many men do we have? 10 versus. They should be able to fucking take it down. 3 average and recruit is still there. Yeah, okay, almost as much. He's guaranteed to win this one. And here is, yes, I really don't know who's gonna win.
Слушаю. Смирно. Слушаю.
Okay, there we go, cool. Wonder if we can do some integration policies because we did. I think if we did we make those or not? We did. Okay, so this gives me manpower. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do manpower. The deletion. Interesting. Now we want here. What do you mean? that sounded like me when I'm playing music. About music, I'm actually getting... Because NODs give me... Unit upkeeps, consumption, auto supply. Nope. I want more people in my army, goddammit. Nope. Never mind then.
Готов.
Oh, the lag though. This is... Oh, I need to go.
Смирно.
Golden.
Слушаю. Смирно. Так точно. Жду приказа. Слушаю.
Formation of the French community. What is that? Let me check that. I need to keep talking. I'm sorry for being quiet. Oh, that's just... Okay, that's an faction. Economics is something special. Yeah, it really is. It's interesting. Like GDP, inflation, what the economy goes to, what I get the money from. Like I get from taxes, from business, from expensive revenue. Like it's a bunch of stuff. And it's a lot. I should make a... What I could do is I make a massive tutorial and post it on YouTube, like how everything works. Like I can do I do a tutorial on the economy and the Cold War tab. No, there we go. I do a tutorial on how everything, all of this works, and like and I can also do like entire like how everything works in this one. That could actually be fun, and let's see how that goes. Are we still... Yeah, we're still fighting this. They're trying to cut me off there. That's really bad actually.
Готов. Слушаю. Я готов. Смирно.
Okay, so now no one of these divisions have any
Я готов.
supply, which is really good actually.
Смирно.
So we're gonna start working on this, pushing in all of this. Because leader free India, there's a free India. Huh? I guess you. Can Afghanistan, we have the frontier provinces. I don't know what that is, but there must be a reason behind having it. Oh, and now they occupied the control of the region, led by the former commissar Valery Sablin, who until recently served under Genji Vodoga. Lower the music a bit. Sorry. Until the ultimate defeat of the former head of the NKVD espoused the strong Leninist ideology. Sablin has nevertheless sworn to avoid the excess upon the old Union, striving for only just an equal society. Popular among the youth and the dreamers of Siberia, one of the most nevertheless wonder just how dedicated Sablin, barely an adult, is to his dream, the truly equal union, whatever the cost. The man and woman of the Far East march west, determined to bring the ideals to all of Russia. Can ideals survive these dark times? They can.
Готов.
We no longer have that common thing, so we can do trial of this guy. We get a third thing this now. Do this, and then we check the economy. We no longer have the war, but we have surplus. Look at that, we have 8% surplus in the we can play that song. We cannot play that song. Not as the same. We still have a surplus. Not that much. Oh, look at that. Who's the base? So we can count our pennies. Yeah, count our pennies. The trial of Alexander Men. Head cooked blacks have been gazed down through the narrow eyes at the father Alexander Man. That's that name. Heavily built and impressively bearded, men sat in a dock on his upraised vestments. His only concession to vanity, state apartments, serenity. One hand resting highly atop the other, Sablin wondered if the state of his mind was peaceful as his history would lead one to believe. Truth to be told, Sablin couldn't quite figure men out. He was a tyrant, an evil man, although... Don't let me be anymore. Couldn't figure... Also, he fought against the Soviet Revolution. Having once a member of the proscribed catacomb church, he had continually held that Christianity, not socialism, would be Russia's salvation. A good man at heart, but so misguided. Religion was, as Marx has famously said, an opiate of the masses. The Russian people would never be free until they liberated themselves from bishops and their sacrilege lies. I don't know what is it. Alexander Vladimirovich Men began broad. As Sablin noticed how men didn't tense even the slightest at his sentence was read out. This court of soldiers and workers finds you guilty of crimes against the social revolution. You are hereby sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in rehabilitation labor in the service of the revolution. Dismissed. Stanley meant slightly made the sign of the cross. He went with dignity, allowing the soldiers to take him outside without resistance, not glancing back. As afraid of being transformed into a pillar of salt, Sablin couldn't help but notice the subdued mood of the gallery. They seemed to have been hoping for more of a show. Men had been an enemy of the socialism and needed to be punished, but that didn't mean that they had to be cruel about it. As Pusher and had once said to them, the strength of the revolution came from the clemency and not from the blood-handed retribution. A friend from anger and turn from wrath, it leads only to evil. The Saka expeditions. What is that? Here comes the owner of Saka. I guess that's one. Yeah, we got all of this. Ooh, cool. We got a bunch of people from that as well. Meaning prepare for war. We cannot do that. It's not 1969 yet. We have a few years now to prepare. How long have I been streaming? Just 3 hours. I may end it right here in a few minutes. Maybe I'll play it like a half an hour, and then I'll end it for this, and then I'll continue the rest of the game like another day, like on Friday, and like it can be like, you know, the part 2. Loss of production. I do not think we lost production. That's just a lie. It is. It didn't. Never mind. It wasn't a lie. We actually did lose some stuff. We have 50. Thank you. Caffeine flow. Luxuries such as tea, coffee, those once rare commodities during the chaos of the late 50s and early 60s, now available for those with both money and connections utterly reach most of the population. However, as Russia stabilizes, access to the global economy has dramatically improved, and now once rare commodities has being tries to improve. Now the rare commodities are being imported in increasingly large numbers: chocolate, fruits, foreign wines, and of course coffee and tea. Now access to caffeinate beverages is no longer a luxury restricted to the privileged few, but an increased commodity, if still it's still priced. A drinking of choice for many of our citizens. A toast to our future of success. Cool. We are now gonna do a beacon of freedom. We have, you know, united entire Middle East. We are need to hit the better anti-tank button. We have 70,000 of these, so we don't need this at the moment. What we do need is more guns. More guns? Maybe more. What do you mean more? We'll just start off with, we are all of these. We have all, you know, all of these fairly bad troops, and we have these who are a bit better. I'm gonna take all. I'm gonna make them into better units. So we have an actually decent Katusha. Yes, I'll play Katusha. Which one do you want to hear? Do you want to have the Girls and Panzer version? Red Sun Rising. I'm gonna turn off just for now, so I can actually listen. Laying on the square outside of the Verkhnautinsk Opera House with Pinchuro, Marchev and the Velonoskaya, Sablin tried to blanch out the International, but barely got past the third note when he started acrobatic giggling. Setting his comrade off too, rolling into Bell, started rolling onto his belly. Sablin drunkenly pewed from the volley. I think it's like, but it kept rolling away from him. That made him laugh too. Slumping back and forth, slapping gazed into the sky, watching as the black night slowly gave away to grey of pre-dawn. He smiled himself, vaguely wondering how many bottles of vodka he drunk since he signed a treaty of home in the far Eastern Soviet Republic the night before. It was pretty much the only thing he remembered from the past 12 from the past 12 hours. He did not doubt he'd made quite a fool of himself during the party, but did it matter if he had if every day had made calls to celebrate? This was it. Grinning like a lunatic, Sablin imagined that he thought it would be like when they took Moscow. Would have them took Moscow. All I'm thinking of is when does it? The smiling like a lunatic. Let me find where it is. Remember the past, no doubt from so. Here, it's grinning like a man. All I'm thinking is like the Jim Carrey, like I can't do it, but it's like, you know, do the smile. Look coward, shouted. Look, comrades, not cowards, shouted man, pointing to the sun as it crests over the horizon. A red sun rises. The heaven themselves turn to the revolution. Got a ragged cheer from Sablin and the other half-dozen revelers still trying to keep the party alive. Starting into the Rinskaya, Sablin couldn't wipe the the grin of his face. Again, the most impossible odd. They had succeeded. They had cast down the tyrants, lighting the torch of the social revolution across the east. Despite their triumph, it wasn't over yet. They would still have to bring the revolution west, into the lands of bandits, the madmen, and the oppressors. Looking around from his closest friend, Sablin realized for the first time he trusted them implicitly, and the strength they had lent him would allow him to climb any mountain, leap any hurdle. Feeling the sober of all this, Sablin sat down. The party was over. He had to keep the momentum going. The fight isn't over yet. Get more freedom. And now, a new focus stream. And music. No, Hoi4. Now we're gonna look what we can do. Reach out to the world. We can. What do we need for this? Protect brutality. Sure. Okay, so we need to do that. Or we need to do protect, brutality, and democracy. Has completed the declaration of the workers, which is the this one, Declaration of Workers' Rights. Then we have to clear the further cool and the new land. Okay, so we need to do all of this until we can do any of this. And I think how we're gonna do it, we're gonna do this, then we do economy, some economy, then we're gonna do reaching out, and then we do military, and then a new radical. What we are gonna do, make some better units. How many guns do we have? We have a bunch of this. Now we have a combo of 16, that's good. Still have, Tomorrow is the Black League. Everything from the... Okay, I'm gonna take a quick piss. I'll be right back. I'm also gonna get some more water because I finished. Bing a bang a bong. Just to go. Play the time again. Okay. Everything from the mutineers and ad hoc headquarters had been cleared out of the upper house. and the chairs put back to their rightful place. To Sablin, sitting in front row, it almost looked as they had never been there at all. Sablin breathed heavily, deeply, and listening to the shuffling feet and murmured voices behind him. Behind, see, front row, the place was packed. Everyone coming to see the film. An almost immaculate, it was packed. Everyone coming to see the film. It almost immaculate print of Sergei Einstein, Eisen, Eisenstein's socialist masterpiece, Battleship Potemkin, unearthed from landfill in Irkutsk. As the light dimmed and the overture began, Sablin squeezed his wife's Ellen's hand. She looked up at him lovingly, and his eyes filled with tears at how lucky he was. It was rapturous. The live orchestra might have been amateurs plunking away at whatever instrument they could have scrunched together, but it didn't matter. The emotion coating every frame like brushstrokes on a painting needed to no adornment for the film's powerful message of revolutionary hope to to be felt. The audience cheered at all the appropriate moments. They cheered when Tsarists killed the hero. No, they cheered when the Tsarists killed the hero Vakulinchuk, and the Sablin was certain he heard sobbing when the baby was killed as its carriage fell out of the control down the Odessa steps. This scene, the Odessa steps scene with the baby, it's in another movie like called The Untouchables, about like Al Capone. It's really good. Like, go watch that movie. During the end, as the Tsarist fleet mutinied and flew the red flag, the audience gave a standing ovation. Their cheering drowned out the orchestra. Sablin looked to the side into the grainy faces of Pechero and Macre. Battleship Potemkin was like an electric charge that railed anyone who saw. As the red flag fluttered above the Tsarist dreadnought, Sabrel and doubt fell away. The soldier's dream had been crushed once before, but someday soon the red flag would have once more would wave once more over Leningrad. Clapping as the light faded from the projector, Sablin whirled and had been raised to be raised to, and want to raise it himself. To rifle brothers down with tyranny. Interesting. Let's see. Gotta make some marines. There's a lot of rivers and we need to cross them. And who leads the marines? Oh, the power. What is it? Russia's history has been one of tragedy. Lenin tried the Great Patriotic War. Ugh. The Red Banner Pacific Fleet recovers over there. Hell yeah. State fishing fleet. What do we have? We have in total 100. Let's do that. The next moves forward. A little about just the future. I'm just gonna skip that for now. The red flag of Lenin. No, raise the flag for Lenin.
Слушаю.
Ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. Oh. What do we need? We need more hospitals. People want hospitals and prison. We're gonna build 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna build some prisons. Where's the prison here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we need 2. And we have 3 of these at least. And then we want... That's good for now. Yeah, nuclear power plant. The pride of birds, like many of the native folks of the stars and that's how we get it in their endless push to the Pacific. The birds were proud but deeply wounded people. Their way of life mercantile is crushed beneath marching boots, foundering locomotives and roaring tank trucks. Every bird poured that pain within their hearts. But they long to reassert themselves, to face the world against the people unfettered by the bonds of traumas imposed upon them. And so it came to no surprise to Sablin when Makarek approached him with a request that meant his name to be changed to a token of recognition for the Pura, and it be cast down the Yargan defense. Yeah, it would name Ulan Ude, literally meaning red Ude. The name of the mighty river that sustained the bird people. My comrades said Sablin, smiling broad and like a reassuring hand on my shoulder, Makishev's shoulder. Without the other mighty birds, we could never have brought Lenisla back to Rush. The revolution will never forget your people, and I will not allow it. We changed the name. Okay. Well, the battleships, a bunch of... we got a bunch of these now. What we want to do? Early frigate, what is this? Early battleship, we don't want battleship. Early destroyers, every submarine. Get some... Get the fuck I need. We want... Let's get 5 of these set up in... Right here. You know, small little... You know... Protective maybe that can protect. The National Protection Army! Because we're in China. That's one of the hardest games to play. Is it state to be honest. I'm in the VC with Jesper and Jonas. I'll join. Oh, we got a different. Right, then also March of the Defender. Okay, but I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna end them here, and I'm gonna send this over to YouTube, so you'll see this in YouTube. Yeah. Anyway, thank you much for watching. We came a lot, and I'll finish this one in a few days. And I'll be back and, you know, do... But you know, yeah, but... anyway, I'll be back in a few days and do another part 2 for this one. Bye, guys.